Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into the ASRock RX 7900 XTX Taichi. It's this massive graphics card with a pretty aggressive price tag, around $1,100. Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We've got a stack of reviews here, and we need to figure out if it really delivers that flagship performance for, hundreds less than the competition.
And what's so fascinating right out of the gate is the conflict it presents for you, the consumer. It's got 24 gigabytes of VRAM, a cooling solution that is just colossal. But here's the hook. ASRock tuned this thing to pull up to 525 watts.
545.
Yeah, via three 8-pin connectors. That's almost 200 watts more than a typical reference design. And that's a serious indicator of the kind of performance and heat we're about to get into.
It certainly has an appetite. So let's start with the horsepower, the raw performance. In rasterized 4K gaming, and that's, pure GPU muscle without the fancy ray tracing stuff, our sources show this Taichi is about 4% faster than even AMD's own reference design.
Which officially makes it the fastest RX 7900 XTX that major reviewers have tested. It absolutely trades blows with the RTX 4080 and really demanding titles like Cyberpunk or Resident Evil 4.
But that performance requires a power reality check, right?
A huge one. The sustained gaming power draws are hovering between 400 and 430 watts. So to run a card like this safely, you really need a quality power supply, minimum 750 to 800 watts. Your total system draw under load is getting close to 500 watts.
But wait a minute. Needing a higher wattage PSU that pushes the total system cost up, doesn't that start to eat into that big $300 price advantage it has over the more power-efficient RTX 4080?
It absolutely does, and that brings us to the architectural nuance of why this is even necessary. See, while NVIDIA is getting similar raster performance with a lot less power, AMD is using their chiplet design. They have a cutting-edge 5-nanometer graphics compute, die the brain, basically, and they surround it with 6 separate 6-nanometer memory cache dies.
Okay, so why the split? What's the thinking there?
It's all about balancing cost versus performance. It's actually pretty genius. By using the really expensive 5mm process only for the main logic, the part that needs it most, and then using the cheaper, more mature 6mm process for the cache, AMD segments their manufacturing risk. It gives you that high-end performance at a price point that would be impossible if the whole thing were one big, expensive 5mm chip.
So, okay, they're using this clever split design for performance, but how do they stop that massive 525-watt thermal envelope from just, turning your PC into a furnace? Looking at pictures of this thing, it doesn't just take up 3 slots. It looks like a small car. You definitely need to measure your case.
And that brings us to the thermal brute force that ASRock applied here. This is the triple fan Taichi 3X. It has 8 heat pipes, and it's all controlled by this massive 22-phase VRM.
A 22-phase VRM, that's not just a number, is it? That means something.
It means incredibly clean power delivery, which gives you massive stability for overclocking and reduces electrical noise. It's essential when a card is consistently pulling 400+ watts.
And the results of that engineering are, well, they're pretty stunning. 55 degrees Celsius under a sustained gaming load. That's incredible.
It is. The hotspot only gets to around 73, and the fans are barely even trying, just spinning past 1,300 RPM. This huge thermal headroom is exactly why the card stays so quiet, even with that power draw.
Right, so that thermal story is a huge selling point. But the performance story, it shifts pretty dramatically when we start talking about ray tracing, doesn't it?
And that's the chasm we have to acknowledge. This is where it all changes. When you enable ray tracing, the RTX 4080 just pulls ahead. We're talking 28% to 36% faster, depending on the resolution. And that gap gets even wider in really heavy ray tracing workloads. Plus, DLSS versus FSR still generally favors NVIDIA for quality and uplift.
Okay, but on the plus side, there is one little future-proofing detail that favors AMD here, right? The display port.
Exactly. The Taichi includes the latest DisplayPort 2.1 support, while the 4080 is still on the older 1.4 standard. And that connectivity really matters if you're looking at future high refresh rate VR or maybe one of those 8K displays down the line.
So let's bring it all together. What does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, if you prioritize rasterized performance per dollar and you want a really quiet system thanks to that monster cooler, this card delivers exceptional value. It really justifies its price premium over the reference models with its build quality and that thermal control.
But if ray tracing performance and overall power efficiency are what's critical for your setup, then the competition, well, it still dominates.
Which leaves you with a really interesting choice to make. Given those current performance differences and that immediate power efficiency penalty, how should you weigh that against a future-looking feature like DisplayPort 2.1? That's really something for you to mull over when you're making a big hardware investment like this.